Hey, good afternoon. I want to talk about word pictures. This is a fascinating topic to me because I find myself using them all the time, especially when I'm writing, communicating, texting, um, even occasionally when I'm preaching. It doesn't come to me as fluidly when I'm preaching or when I'm talking rather as it does when I'm writing. It seems like when I'm writing and I don't think about word pictures. I can just they just come to me naturally. I just flow with it, um, and I know that it has to be something that we INFJs share in common because I see so many of you writing, and I read your comments, especially in the comment section, and almost all of you use them, and I use them, and it's something I want to discuss, because I think it's something we do unconsciously a lot of times. If I'm trying to force myself to do one, you can forget it. I mean, I will be just as blank as a sheet of paper, as this right here, nothing. But if I am in conversation with you and, especially in the comment section, uh, you a lot of times you spur me, my mind, my mental faculties. I'm just challenged to just see things. I see our conversations in a picture form, and I love that. It's just how my brain thinks, and so I see what we're talking about, and I see it in pictures. I see it in complex, processes, and I see it in, different. I'll just give you an example. I'll just hush on that. And by the way, all a word picture is the ability to paint or draw a representation, image, or visual concept of something. It's a visual verb, but you're doing it verbally or in writing. So, you're creating this image, this representation. Eric, and I don't know if it's Zail or Zeal, I don't know how you pronounce your last name, so forgive me if I got that wrong. But anyway, Eric, I love you, man. You wrote something that this word picture just grabbed me, and I loved it. He said, if you are not imprisoned by an ego, I love that. All of a sudden, in prison, you're thinking about a prison, you're thinking about a jail cell. It's that word picture. If you're not imprisoned by an ego, then you can give your brain some time to get clear. And for me, it is as if the solution comes from behind a black curtain in my head. The moment I let go, mostly the solution comes up. And boy, isn't that the truth? I mean, when I read that, Eric, I was like, my mind immediately saw the curtain, I saw the prison, I saw the picture that you were painting in my head, because that's the same picture that came to your mind when you were writing it, and uh, and basically you're likening the ego to that black curtain, in a way, in an essence. And I got to thinking, and my mind was processing, wow, it's amazing to me how many people pay more attention to that curtain than they do what's behind the curtain. All the good stuff's behind the curtain, folks. Quit messing with the curtain. Quit polishing the curtain. Quit, shampooing the curtain. Quit trying to arrange it to where it looks pretty and all that. Forget that. The curtain's worthless. It's all the goodies, the prizes behind it. I don't know if you remember them old game shows where they'd have a curtain and they'd say, what's it? Uh, I can't think of the name of the game show. But anyway, they would either pick what's behind the curtain or they would take the $500 from the man standing there holding the $500. Hey, here's $500, or you can have what's behind curtain number one, curtain number two, whatever. I don't remember. Let's make a deal. Maybe that was the name of the show. Let's make a deal. Anyway, oh, you get the picture. Okay. All right. All right, let's move on. Um, Shaswan, 2009, said this, and I quote, I always say I won't be a butterfly if I don't get my cocoon time. Boy, I love that. I won't be a butterfly if I don't get my cocoon time. And that's so true. I mean, if we don't get our alone time, our recharge time, we're worthless, aren't we? We're never going to burst forth with anything, that's productive or quality. We might come up with things in a quantitative way, just to bring it out. And I'm that way with my messages at church. If I don't have time to really process things, I'm just going to shoot stuff out in quantity rather than have quality. So I like that comment. Whoever you are, I don't know your name, but Shashwan. I'll just put it like that. I love that. Beautiful word picture. Quiet life. Quote, I've learned to relax into each season and to trust God for each as well. His is the planting, the tending, the bringing forth the harvest, and the rest which he has commanded for each of us. So here's another beautiful word picture, using the idea of harvesting, gardening, growing, whatever, and it's bringing out this beautiful point of, these times when we have to just pull back. It's no different than our garden. We're entering into winter right now. Everything in the yard, everything in the woods, everything is pulling back. It's going into hibernation. It's got to rest, or it won't be able to do what it needs to do next spring. So I love that. It's a beautiful word picture. Whisper of Wonder mentioned, quote, it's almost like we deflate. I love that word, deflate. Immediately my mind's thinking about a basketball or a kickball that goes, or a beach ball. Somebody poked a hole in it. And, she describes it like, she said, possibly it could stem from what energies are around us and the company we surround ourselves in, to which I responded. And she's right. It is our environment. A lot of times it's what's poking the hole in our beach balls, and then our, whatever. Our ego, for what it's worth, seems like it's always being deflated by somebody, and that's okay, but we don't live on our ego. It's like I said, I'm more interested in what's behind the curtain, the contents of whatever's inside. That's what matters. But anyway, I love this, which I responded to that comment in this way. It's as if I'm driving a car with a full tank of high-octane fuel, but when we don't know how to drive, but we don't know how to drive it one way, and that's with the pedal to the metal. It's like in my life, I'm either stationary or I'm full-blown. It's like, and I said, we're either parked or flying. Our transmission seems to be lacking second, third, and fourth gears. I swear I'm either in granny low or I'm in fifth. There's really nothing in between. So I don't know if you can relate to that, but that's a word picture. It kind of sets the idea in your head that this is the way we are and how we process life. So I just wanted to share those word pictures with you, because this seems to be how I relate in communication a lot of times with people, because my mind is always processing or thinking about a picture. It's always seeing pictures. So I just wondered if, some of you, I know some of you relate to this because I read them. I'm reading them in these comments. So anyway, share with me if you can. I love all of you. God bless.